Hey there, welcome to Two Pastors Unplugged. I'm Rick Probst. When I say what I'm about to say, I mean it from my heart. I sincerely love this man. He is such a good man, first. What a great leader, husband, dad, and no doubt you know when I mention his name who he is, and you've seen him on television, watched his videos, even heard him on the radio. Dr. James Merritt with us, author, speaker, pastor, and almost 50 years he and Teresa have been together, and that is gold right there. Doc, how are you?
Buddy, I'm doing fine. I'll tell you, Rick, my favorite thing about me, honestly, is the only thing good about me is that Jesus lives in me. You take Jesus out of me, I'm not worth shooting, but Jesus is the one that makes the difference.
How simple is that?
Simple for me, because I figured it out when I was 9 years old, and I've never looked back.
That is so awesome. If you're watching, you'll see a picture of he and Teresa there, taken about 3 years ago. And Doc and I were just talking before we started recording about a number of things, and I have a list to talk about, but I'd like to talk about some of that. Doc, how, and you talked about Teresa, how she's such a good woman, always has been, just by your side, behind you, and just giving you. She's a Proverbs 31 woman. Not everyone has that, pastor or not. How did that happen?
It's so amazing because, and I'll try to be as quick as I can in saying this, but she grew up totally different from me in a way. She grew up in a Pentecostal church. When I met her, as a matter of fact, Rick, that even though she'd been saved as an 8-year-old girl, she'd never been biblically baptized. She was 19 years old. I met her
Hmm.
at Truett College up in Cleveland. And in so many ways, even her parents were just different from my parents and good people. But, and I don't mean this condescendingly, but they were mountain people. It was up
Yeah.
in Habersham County. And, I grew up closer to Atlanta. I mean, a country boy, but not a mountain boy. Anyway, all of which is to say that she had her life figured out. She was a beauty queen. She was a cheerleader. She was going to the University of Georgia. She was going to major in business and had a great career ahead of her. Last thing on her mind ever was to marry a pastor, much less be a pastor's wife. I mean, it really was. But I'm just telling you, even the fact that when you marry somebody 6 months, you don't really know each other
Right.
that well. I just knew I loved her. She knew she loved me, and we knew we loved Jesus, and that was about all we had to know. And so we had to learn it. We kind of learned each other on the fly, so to speak. But God calls the woman as well as the man. And I guess my simplest explanation is, though she did not know it at the time, God called her to be a pastor's wife. Because every church, I will tell you, every church we pastored, and I really do mean this, the churches always loved her more than they loved me. And she's just that kind of a person, just that easy to love. And so I don't believe in luck. I was talking to our church the other day. God is sovereign, no such thing as luck. But it was just the blessing of God and the sovereignty of God that He gave me the wife that I had. Because as you well know, behind every good man is a great woman. But behind every man that fails, maybe a woman is not so good. I mean, they can make you or break you. And she certainly has made me.
I was watching Fanning the Flames Part 2, and you did a series about marriage, and I believe this was from might have been last Sunday, I'm not sure, but I was watching it, and I love, this is what you said. It'll do you no good to find the right person if you're not the right person to be married to. So you have to do a little work on yourself instead of pointing the finger. Candidly, I think my wife and I, we were young. She was 19, I was 21. She was from one of 13. I was an only child. And in the beginning, it was some rough sailing. Boy, howdy. But 43 years later, I love her. That's my girl right there. And
Amen.
I had a lot of growing to do. I think that's so good that you impart. That's a great line that you came up with. And that's the truth, isn't it? Not just marriage, but isn't it if you're leading a church, you're running a business, instead of looking outside, it begins on the inside, doesn't it?
Rick, life always begins with you, not with the other person. If you're the husband, it doesn't begin with the wife. If you're the father, it doesn't begin with the children. If you're the pastor, it doesn't begin with the church. It always leads with you. It always begins with you. And what I finally took me a while to figure it out is that, my primary responsibility is not A, to change her, because I can't do that. Number two, to make her the wife she ought to be. I can't do that either. My only responsibility is twofold. Number one, by the grace of God, to be the husband that I ought to be. And then number two, for whatever changes I need to make, that God needs to make in me, to humble myself under him, to change me to be the man that I ought to be. Because when I die, it won't matter to me if she was a great wife. What will matter to me is, can she say to others, I was a great husband? And with all my faults and flaws and foibles and failures, and I've got many of them, and I'm not the perfect husband, I do strive every day to be the Ephesians 5 husband that God has called me to be. And what I have learned is, if I take care of me, God will take care of her. I told our church the other day, if you try to be number one, you'll wind up being number two. But if you try to be number two, you'll wind up being number one. That's
That's
just the way it
good.
works. So you put others first, and then you come in first as well.
Dr. James Merritt with us, author, speaker, pastor, Cross Pointe Church. You can go to crosspointchurch.com, touchinglives.org. No doubt you've seen him, heard him, and just love spending time with him. We got a few more minutes. We had talked a little bit, Doc, about you were talking about, you're 72, I'm 65. We look back when we started in our pastoral ministries, and if we knew then what we know now, my gracious, I don't know. I think the world would be set on fire. And you are depositing into the young guys, the Timothy Project, and I think that's important to you. Is that what you're downloading to them? Say, hey, this is what I did wrong, but this is how you can save some grief and just grow them up in the faith, as Paul spoke into Timothy.
Yeah, I'm doing two things, actually, one privately and one more publicly. The Timothy Project is something that our media ministry, Touching Lives, we came up with, and we're raising money to do it, where we actually want to help pay pastors to go to seminary, help pay their way to go to seminary, give them books, solid books that they need, foundational books they will need, and then personal time with me where I can pour my life into them and help mentor them the way that a great man, Adrian Rogers, mentored me.
Yeah.
And then I did started something probably 8 or 10 years ago now, maybe more than 10. But I mentor 8 young guys a year. We meet once a month in my home for 10 months. We read 10 different books, everything from theology to family to evangelism to money management to the devotional life. We try to really make it as well-rounded as we can. We meet for about 2.5 hours at my house, like I say, 10 months. And it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. And, 1 Timothy 2:2, what you've heard from others, pass on to other men. That's what I'm really trying to do. And if I had to go with my ministry again, that's one thing I would do differently. I would have done this for 40 years, 45 years. I would have gotten other guys in my church. Even when I was younger, I would have gotten guys in my church and began to mentor them and get them to read. One thing that's good about this mentorship, readers are leaders.
Yeah.
Most men don't read. Mm-hmm. So one of the things these guys know they sign up for, and some of them, a lot of them will tell me, gosh, Pastor, I hadn't read a book since I was in high school, because these guys are in their late 20s, early 30s. And they start reading again, and they find there is a joy in reading. There, even though it is work, but it's good work, and you learn so much. And so, that is the couple of things that I'm trying to do. And, interesting, as my runway gets shorter, I want my legacy to be longer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. That's so good. Dr. James Merritt with us. Yeah, that's something, even now, I'm an associate now, and we've, I don't know why we lost touch with discipleship over the years, right? It seemed to be everything was theme motivated, and themes aren't bad, but what happened was we kind of lost sight of discipleship. So we started discipling these young 30s in our church, and they're so hungry, but Pastor, they don't know much. It's almost like a clean slate, and you're writing on it. There's a young man now, I'd say young, he's 38, has a family, very successful. He was an atheist. He came to the church, got born again. He's so hungry that you can't give him enough to read. And we're spending time with him, answering his questions, trying to answer his questions. And he's just as hungry. And that's the kind of legacy personally too, that I would want to leave, that and more of these young men. So good on you. That is so good. Dr. James Merritt with us, Cross Pointe Church, touching lives. Watch him. Check out the website. and you can find out more. And what are you doing for the holidays? Are you getting with all the boys and the kids and taking
You
some?
know, by the way, let me just go back and piggyback on one thing you said. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and I know you've heard this before. You'll only, in 5 years from now, you'll only be different because of two things: the people you met and the books that you read. That's the only two things will be different about you: the people you met, the books that you read. That said, yeah, you know, we'll have about 45 to 50 people at my home on Thanksgiving. Family from all sides, they all come, and some people, we've got a couple of families that they don't have anywhere to go Thanksgiving. They'll be at our house, so we open it up. All my three boys will be here.
That's
And
awesome.
then I'm going to be home for Christmas, not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. Thank God, I'm not flying anymore. I've flown too much this year, but anyway, not flying anymore. I'm starting I do a 3-week Christmas series every December. Starting one this year. I'm going to call it Jesus in 3D. I've never done it before.
Huh.
We'll talk about the historical Jesus, the heroic Jesus, and the heavenly Jesus in 3 Sundays. So I'm excited about all that. And so we got that between Christmas parties and pageants and sing-alongs and everything else. It's going to be pretty busy.
I'm looking forward to that series, Doc. I really,
Me
really.
too, buddy.
That
I mean,
sounds good.
even that mention on the historical Jesus, I'll be super, super quick. I've never ever preached on the historicity of Christ. You know, there's some out there that don't even believe it existed. And when you go digging deep, right, it was amazing what I found out. If we didn't have a Bible, there would be at least 13 key things we would know about Jesus that covers the entire gospel without any Bible verse whatsoever,
Wow.
recorded by secular historians.
Wow. I love that. Dr. James Merritt with us. You know, Doc, 72 of all you've done, you could coast, but you're not a coaster. Thank you for being who you are and still imparting into our lives. You're such a huge blessing, and blessings to you, Teresa, kids, grandkids. Have a great time, and God's health and blessing to you. Love you.
Rick, mega ditto, love you like a brother. Thanks for the honor of being on the podcast. I wish you and your family a blessed Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas. And again, it's an honor to be with you. Appreciate the time, buddy.
Thank you so much. CrossPointChurch.com, touchinglives.org. If you're around there, Duluth, Gwinnett County, stop by and see them and enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Next week, another great Atlanta metro area pastor. Until then, I'm Rick Probst. Have a good week. This is Two Pastors Unplugged. See ya.